The Indiana Hoosiers were one of my favorite teams to watch in all of college football last season. I don't want to hear about the lackluster competition that they faced because Curt Cignetti had that team ready to play week in and week out, and they were incredibly impressive all season long on both sides of the football. A lot of their talent is returning to school for the 2025 season, but one of their biggest defensive contributors has been a massive riser in this draft class, and that is defensive tackle cjwest. West had a fantastic showing at the NFL Draft Combine and was one of the biggest winners of the East-West Shrine Bowl. In a defensive tackle class that is so loaded from top to bottom in talent, how high could West hear his name called in the 2025 NFL Draft? That is what we will be discussing in today's video. But hey guys, if you guys are new to the channel, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Also, be sure to check out my Patreon page, which I will leave linked down in the description below. There, you guys will be able to find my full, in-depth draft guide and big board with over 500 written scouting reports. You'll be able to find all of my in-depth analysis on each prospect with updated Combine and Pro Day numbers, player stats, and so much more. It is truly one of the best resources on the market, and I highly recommend checking it out if you enjoy my NFL Draft content. Leave a comment on this video and let me know which prospects you guys would like to see in a future episode, and without further ado, let's take a closer look at CJ West. West is a player who has had a really interesting collegiate journey. He started his career at Kent State, who is notorious for being one of the weaker FBS programs, but West had some really solid seasons for the Golden Flashes. In 2023, West finished the season with 14 pressures, 2 sacks, 29 tackles, 27 run stops, and a forced fumble on the year. He entered the portal and was a huge part of a loaded transfer class for the Hoosiers. He was phenomenal for them in 2024, posting 25 pressures, 1 sack, 28 tackles, 22 run stops, and a forced fumble, and he has been one of the biggest risers over the past couple of months, and I think he has the potential to get taken way higher than people are expecting. The first thing that really sticks out with West is his super underrated explosiveness and movement ability. Over his college career, he has primarily played at the nose tackle position, and that is likely where he will profile best at the NFL level, but he is a way better athlete than your typical nose tackle. He ran a 4.95 at the NFL Draft Combine and had a 33-inch vertical while weighing in at 316 pounds. Players oftentimes aren't this explosive and this mobile at his size, but I think that is what makes West so unique. It flashed all over his tape just how athletic and fluid he is athletically. He's quick to the ball, and I love that about his game. Another thing that I love about West is just how powerful he is. We often talk about the ability to convert speed to power with these rushers, and West has that ability. He plays with low pads, and he explodes into his stance, where I thought he showcased one of the better power profiles as a rusher of many of the defensive tackles in this class. He has an exceptional bull rush and showcases the ability to win strictly with power, which I absolutely love, and I think it's going to help him in the NFL. West also has active hands and showcases some solid swipes from time to time that I think can make him a better pass rusher than his numbers indicate. The other thing that I love about West is his run defense. He is a player who is consistently shedding blockers and crashing downhill, stuffing run gaps, and he's been a consistent force in the run game throughout his entire college career. I think he has the perfect skill set to be a modern nose tackle in the NFL, and I love the potential he brings. West is a good prospect, but he still has had some concerns as a pass rusher. He has some good tools, and he got better at creating pressures, but he's still very inconsistent. I feel like more often than not, his hands are really stiff, and he's unable to consistently win with finesse. Like I mentioned earlier, there are times where he shows some good swipes and some active hands, but there are more often than not, I feel like he is too reliant on his power, and I'd like to see some improvement on that area. I also worry about his length. He weighed in at 31.5-inch arms at the East-West Shrine Bowl, and I worry about how that will translate because it does hurt him on tape, particularly as a tackler. West has a 17.4% missed tackle rate throughout his career, and that's just way too high for my liking. He needs to be more consistent at wrapping up, and I think his shorter arms do limit him as a pass rusher because he doesn't have the length to long arm blockers. Lastly, there were too many times when West seemingly was out of control or lost his balance. It's not a major deal or something I'm super concerned about, but I saw him end up on the ground way more than I would like to see, and I think he needs to play with a little bit more discipline. cjwest is a favorite of mine in this class. He has phenomenal athleticism for his size and is a very strong and powerful defender. He is a guy who I believe will be an instant contributor to an NFL roster because of his ability to stuff the run, his athleticism, and his overall power profile. I have West as my number 12 defensive tackle in the draft class and my number 80 overall prospect. He has some serious juice, and I think he's an underrated player. In terms of a scheme fit, West is the ideal nose tackle in the modern NFL. With his length concerns, I think he is best when working in the A-gap, playing over the center, and just clogging up run lanes in the middle. He may give you a little juice as a pass rusher. I think he can get close to 30 pressures a year, but more than likely, he will be a nose tackle and a contributing one at that in the NFL. My player comparison for cjwest is new LA Rams defensive tackle Poona Ford. Ford was a player who went undrafted because he didn't have a ton of traits, but he has turned into a very reliable NFL player. He's a good run defender, he has good lateral quickness, and he brings some pass rush juice as well. He is a bit undersized and has shorter arms, but I think cjwest has a ton of similarities and he could have a very similar career trajectory. cjwest is a dog. He is a phenomenal run stuffer, he has good pass rush juice, and is a really undervalued player in this draft class. I am a big fan of his game, and ultimately, I believe that cjwest will be a top 100 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft.